Oh my god!
Oh,
They broke a table with a table. The SmackDown and PS1 games overall were the ones that really helped introduce the world of wrestling to us, but this game right here, WWE Day of Reckoning for the Nintendo GameCube, is near and dear to our hearts because this is where the three of us, even though Keith isn't here right now, but Ryan and I are, this is where we started bonding and creating special things for the world of the interwebs.
Yeah, this game is very, very awesome. The gameplay is pretty unique, and yeah, the GameCube wrestling games were just kind of on another level, and
they were
kind of ahead of their time with certain aspects of interrupting moves and the way it did table breaks and stuff. Very different from the SmackDown games. And, you know, sometimes the other modes didn't really live up to it, but these games were really defined by the gameplay.
They were, and they held up to this day. When we first started meeting each other, it was where you were playing WWE Raw 2 for the Xbox. We played the first one. You can check that out on the channel here. And you were doing this creation thing where you had these hypothetical, fantasy characters, and you put them up against each other. You put in commentary. Then later on, I became involved. We did so in WrestleMania 19, which we can also play later on, maybe in the future. But with this game, the creation suite, it's so solid. And then the gameplay, because this game doesn't have that many features. You know, it got rid of a lot of the fun stuff from WrestleMania 19, like the revenge mode, the behind-the-scenes stuff. There was basically none of that. But in return, you got this solid gameplay. It was arcadey, it was fast-paced, but it just felt right.
Yeah, just some of the most solid gameplay I've ever played in a wrestling game. And pretty much that was what you had to get out of this game. You kind of had to make it your own, because aside from the gameplay, there really wasn't too much to offer. Once you kind of beat the story mode, that was it. There was really nothing else to do in the game. But the creation suite was so good that if you wanted to have your own fun with the game and creating all these awesome characters and then just enjoying the gameplay, that was really the way to go.
You know, it's worth mentioning the first wrestling game that came out for the GameCube was WrestleMania 18. And that was basically a spin-off of the SmackDown games. Like, if you play that, it's not too great, but you can definitely see that it shared a lot of the same moves and animations. With 19, they changed it, but here they really found a way to differentiate themselves from the SmackDown games to the point where we completely avoided them altogether, and we love playing Here Comes the Pain. But there was something about this gameplay that was so good, and you see it right now, right? Like, you hit the left bumper to counter grapples and the right one to counter strikes. It's really fast-paced. It's really easy to interrupt. So even in triple threat matches, remember how like in the SmackDown games, if you're doing a powerbomb to somebody, I can't interrupt you. You can do that here, and that's awesome.
Yeah, that was a big deal because triple threats and stuff in the SmackDown games felt really clunky because you just have to sit there and wait and watch the other two fight each other. Whereas in this one, you can kind of jump right into the action and interrupt things. Sometimes it gets a little ridiculous because everyone's just interrupting each other's moves.
Yeah,
and
it gets a little annoying.
Yeah, it does get a little annoying, but I would take that over not being able to interact at all.
But they kept some of the same things. As you can see, this is very similar to the Nintendo 64 games where you're able to develop a special, and once you get that, for the time being, you see I hit the rock bottom and now the people's elbow, so you can do both of those things. So it's a matter of how many moves can I get in at one time, but not necessarily will you end the match. So let's see, can I beat Kurt Angle already? Let me try this right now. He's not even in blue yet. So, see, like, there you go. Kurt, no selling anything.
Yeah, well, yeah, because much like No Mercy, you kind of have this aura. You do your finisher taunt, as you saw, and it said special, and you have that window of time to get in as many finishers as you can before it goes away. And they also, I don't know if it's going to come up, but they have momentum shifts in this game.
Yeah, they do.
So Kurt Angle, you seem to be beating the crap out of him. So he might actually get a momentum shift, which is kind of like his comeback sequence. But it's usually only one move. But it actually will reverse each other's momentums, which are those kind of...
Oh, no! You know, graphically, this game holds up. It came out in 2004, I believe it did. And when you look at it, yeah, you know, definitely the textures aren't as crisp as the games nowadays, but this in no way is a bad-looking wrestling game.
No, not at all. I mean, for being 12 years old, the game. It still holds
Wow.
up pretty well. The graphics look relatively smooth. It's just obviously you could tell looking at today's character models how much things have improved, but it still looks pretty solid.
One thing that's always been a shame to me is, you know how everybody talks about, oh, you got to go back and play No Mercy or Revenge or something like, oh, what? Oh, okay. I got a schoolboy roll-up win.
Well, this is what happens when you're on the Monday Night Raw stage, is you can win with a roll-up all the time.
Right. That is very true. But what I wanted to say is that people don't talk about these games, right? You don't hear, oh man, remember Day of Reckoning? The gameplay is so similar. You do the hard grapples, you do the quick grapples, there's the counters. There's no reason why if you're talking about No Mercy, why aren't you talking about this one, right?
I think it really just comes down to more people. There were more wrestling fans at the time of No Mercy, and No Mercy was kind of like the pinnacle of Attitude Era wrestling games. So that's why a game like this kind of gets thrown by the wayside. And like I said, No Mercy had a better story mode. Well, I'll put it that way. So certain things like that have had people kind of attach themselves to No Mercy over a game like this.
The roster in this game wasn't that great. Like the Dudley Boys I know were not in this game, even though they were definitely part of the company there.
The GameCube disc size was pretty small, so they had to
were
be
like this
really...
big, yeah.
Yeah, they couldn't have nearly as big of a roster. I think that the PlayStation 2 games always had a bigger roster, so they had to be pretty selective. It seems like an oversight to have the Bashams over the Dudleys, but...
exactly. It's like, you got to go between BDSM and a legendary tag team. I'm going to go with the Dudleys. I don't know about you, man.
I think I would go the same way as well. They were in 19, I think. They just... they got the axe in this one.
Hey, something we didn't talk about because I obviously had to silence it. The soundtrack in this game. So freaking good. To this day, I still listen to some of the music. It's got Breaking Benjamin. It's got a couple of bands.
We got a classic, which was also in Tony Hawk 2. You had Bring the Noise.
So
from,
good.
Anthrax and Public Enemy. You had two Breaking Benjamin songs, Firefly and Polyamorous. Who else was in here? Zebrahead has two songs in here.
I used to always think that song said, "Jacking off, house is on fire."
Yeah. Yes, one of the songs does sound like the dude saying "jacking off."
Oh my god! Okay, wait. Did you see that?
Oh,
they broke a table with a table.
Yeah, the table breaking in this game is pretty great though. Because even before the SmackDown games, you could suplex someone in the ring near the table and the table will break, which wasn't something that SmackDown was doing at the time.
See, I lost the opportunity to do the momentum shift there because I was down for so long.
Yeah. One thing I did want to comment on the soundtrack, though, you have, 3, 6... There was only about 12 songs, so it got very, very repetitive. That was the only downside, is, even though the songs were good, you heard them so much, you really got sick of it.
Yeah, because there was no commentary, so you'd hear the music in the menu, in the matches,
hear the music
everywhere.
Yeah, so you were hearing it all the time.
I just want to see what Eddie's trying to do, because it seems like whenever I try to do something, they just, holy crap, okay. Now, this is a TLC where I do need to grab the ladder, or I should say the title to win the match. So, at some point, I should be trying to do that.
Yeah, and the way I think it was pretty easy to get the belt in this game, right? You just had to time the grab. The belt's kind of swinging back and forth, and as long as you time the grab correctly, I think you always got it.
The problem is, Ryan, I forgot how to climb the ladder.
Oh.
So I have my special, which I forget. What do you even do when you're Ray?
Couldn't you have a special for almost every single
Yeah, you could
situation?
have a ground special, a back special, a front special, a running special, so you weren't limited to 2 like you were in the SmackDown games. Come on, Randy. Damn it, Randy. Damn it, Randy.
I actually forget how to do the 6-1-9 in this game.
I don't know.
Was it a corner move? Or?
Because in Day of Reckoning 2, they actually implemented so that you could be lane.
You could be hung up on the ropes.
Exactly. And you actually get a holy shh chant. Holy shh.
Oh yeah, the shh.
It's like, holy shh, be quiet, be quiet.
Yeah. If you think this match is tough to win, I think in any of the GameCube wrestling games, a fatal 4-way cage match was like pretty much the most impossible.
Annoying,
and he
yeah.
did it. Yeah, but fatal 4-way cage, it was too easy to knock people down, and you just needed this perfect window of where everyone was down and you were able to climb out, and it would take hours, literally hours to win.
It would be horrible. Remember when bra and panties matches were a thing? I don't think we should we go down this route, or should we go into Hell in a Cell?
I think we should do Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
Honestly, the bra and panties is really, it's nothing interesting.
It's
just
locked
kind
right
of
now.
like
There's actually a house show arena.
I remember that.
We used to
You
use
started out, that's part of the superstar mode. They actually kind of had you go up in the ranks, so it was cool that you started out at a house show arena.
And let's have him battle.
Dandy with a cameo.
Dandy with a cameo appearance. Let's do against Taker. I mean, it feels like, hey, we're doing a Hell in a Cell match, right? We should have.
Might as well have the Undertaker.
Exactly.
This is like the soccer mom Taker haircut, I think.
Oh, man. Yeah, this is when they tried to have him come back with like long hair. I guess he just couldn't grow it that much, so he kind of just didn't look all that great.
I mean, he was only growing it out from what, Survivor Series to WrestleMania.
Exactly, so only a couple months, less than half a year there. But this is such a great game, to the point where, like, when you used to record matches, and so did I, we got good enough to where we would play as both superstars. So, like, I would have two controllers and just recording a badass match, countering myself, and it would be so great because you can time things so great and so well in this game.
Yeah, I did the same thing, because as one mentioned, we kind of had our own little wrestling league that we did with this, so we'd create all these cool characters from pop culture, have them fight each other, one would commentate it, so we would just literally have two controllers and play our own match in Day of Reckoning. And one of the great things about Day of Reckoning is, if someone gets knocked down to the ground and you don't push the A button at all to get up, they will just stay down the whole time. So it gave you time to switch between controls if you wanted to have one guy beating up the other. And yeah, breaking out of the cell, in here you can actually break out of pretty much any of the sides.
Yeah.
So you're not limited to that one thing where you have to do an OMG moment just to get out, which I think is actually really cool.
And unlike the SmackDown 2 cage, which was featured in the last video, this is actually a Hell in a Cell. So I'm going to be climbing up my way. So I'm playing in normal difficulty. As you can see, it doesn't get too difficult. The problem is that when you up the difficulty, they just become countering machines. And that's cool at first, but it gets super freaking annoying when they just won't let you get a single move in the match.
I remember what I would do for the ultra difficulty in this game is you could actually do men versus women in this game. So I'd play as like Stacy Keibler and try and beat Triple H on hard mode.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if I ever won because it was super, super difficult, but that was like that was the hardcore mode of this game.
I forget, do I need to punch the cage a lot before it breaks?
I think it has to break 3 times, like on the 3rd break. And you could break them through 4 different things too, right?
Yeah. You can see it's like slightly lighter color than the other corners. Get up, boy. Batista bomb through the cell, my friend. Taker, if you haven't retired yet, you will so now. Here we go. Oh, man. Oh!
Oh.
Holy
See, it looks so sick in this game.
Yeah, it's so badass the way they both fall. Unlike the SmackDown games, where they have that falling animation. Oops, my bad. 1, 2. There we go. GG.
Good fight, good night.
Good fight, good night indeed. Hey, Celebrity Deathmatch. Hey, there is a Celebrity Deathmatch game for the PS1. I just remembered that, thanks to you.
I always wanted to play it, and I heard it was really bad, but might be worth taking a look at.
We may be taking a look at that somewhere down the line, but folks, this has been an overall quick look at Day of Reckoning, because the Creation Suite alone...
I like the still there, the rope just right in Batista's
just
face.
right there. Stay tuned for part 2 of our playthrough of Day of Reckoning here on the Nintendo GameCube, where we're going to be playing this right here. So if you like this video, make sure to give us a huge thumbs up, subscribe, check out the podcast available every single Wednesday, Ryan. every Wednesday, people get to hear
Every
you.
Wednesday.
They get to hear me.
It's
Keith.
a treat.
So if you're sad that Keith he's not in this video, I can barely talk right now, you can check out the podcast. We talk about Raw, SmackDown Live, pay-per-views, life. We talk about life. So until next time, thank you for watching, and Play That will continue right here on Byte That. Sounds weird at the end there, but, close enough.